What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I want to preface this video a couple of ways. First, I would love to see this video get to 2,000 likes to coincide with NFL 2K8, which we're going to be discussing quite a bit in comparing to Madden. I also want to say that a few years ago, this community stood up for itself, and they demanded that Madden and EA Sports fix franchise mode. Now, the result was EA attempting to do so, but as with most of EA's promises, they fell short, and EA did not bother, in my opinion, to try to deliver on those commitments. You can actually make the case this year that removing owner's mode served to take something away from the game and also show the incompetence that EA has when adding things to their game. I also want to talk about this community and toxic positivity, to the point that some creators are afraid to be critical of this game. When I brought up the fact that EA announcing they were adding 2,000 plays was easy, I was chastised. The reality is, it is the easy part to add the plays. As gamers, we used to be able to add plays on our own. EA Sports has since removed it, but if you look, community demand is still there. Access Football just implemented creative play in their sports title. However, when I talked about this, my character was assaulted. I was told that I needed a medical intervention for my negativity, and yes, I am being completely serious. I was told I needed professional help because I had, in part, a negative opinion of a video game. Yet when the game released, we learned that it was not blind negativity, but fact. The game has players constantly getting offside penalties, receivers that run routes too close, that struggle to separate catch animations. Some plays are broken altogether and you can't even snap the ball. It's important to understand that a few people did return and admit that what was once labeled as negativity was actually honesty. But in turn, you have so many creators say, I don't want to focus on the bad things. So they instead create this concept that you have to focus on these small steps in the right direction. And this culture is just clinging to hope that the game will get better. I guess my message to those people would be, if you need a honeymoon phase each year with this game, that does not mean that everyone else does. To be blunt, EA Sports is running a promotional company first and a video game developer second. When you launch this game, you are greeted with Madden Ultimate Team passes and upsells. Now, this is standard for free-to-play games, which basically give you the game for free and hope they can encourage you to try to spend money later. Maximum Football does this in the space. The problem, though, is that EA, in many cases, is getting money up front for the customer and then is not proving that they're providing a product with value first before attempting to get extra money. So with that in mind, let's look at the worst value prospect in all of gaming, Madden 26 franchise mode. I want you to understand that franchise mode built this game. Long before online head-to-head, Madden Ultimate Team, gamers spent hundreds of hours a year building teams they wanted, from trades to drafts, owning a team, coaching a team. Franchise mode brought replay value, a time where you wanted to play the game for hours, not just small bursts like we see Madden today. When we talk about value, I want to lay out some very clear information. Prepare yourself for what some may say is negativity. If you bought this game at launch, you paid $100, okay? You're paying around $8 per month to play this game. The issue that we're going to discuss here is that all of these problems have two core principles. First, they are going to take time to fix. Let's assume that they only take 2 months to fix. Okay, at this point, you will have lost $16 of prospective value of your pre-order. And while some people are going to write that off and say you still have the game, the larger discussion is that during those 2 months, this game may go on sale. 30%, 50% are both things that EA is known to do. So now you've not only seen a loss of value from your pre-order, but a loss in value in the overall game. Meaning in real time, you could lose a quarter of your money in 2 months buying this game. But it's not just the money, it's the time. Because, of course, this assumes that EA is going to patch these issues without needing you to restart your franchise, and be prepared for more negativity. Because it's my belief, based on EA's history and track record with these patches, they will require a reboot of current franchises. Now, the Muppet mentality is this shouldn't bother anyone, because now all of a sudden I'm complaining that they're fixing the game too, but let's understand the value of someone's time. I was told earlier that 500 hours a year is what Madden has played, and that somehow justifies it being a quality game. So is it not reasonable to assume that if you're paying to play the game early, you would want a return on that time? So you're paying $10 to get the game early. Wouldn't you want to get some of that back? So let's just say you're going to play the game 4 times longer during that first week. You really rack up the hours. Maybe you play 24, 28 hours. Call it a full day. Should the game need a patch that causes a reset to your franchise, you will have lost all that progress. All of that time, in addition to your money, is now wasted. This is what ruins people's desire to play this game. And when most people heard me say playing the game for just over an hour a day, I'm sure the first thing they thought is, well, that's not true. People aren't going to play this game in 3 months. Now, we're going to start to talk about some game features. This is not negativity. This is reality. I know people don't want you to see these things or hear these things. They want you to just label people. They want you to say, you can't trust Soft Drink TV. He drinks water. You can't trust Angry Joe. He has angry in his name. I want you, though, to understand that EA Sports has so little thought and care about what they do with this game. And the perfect case in point for this is wear and tear, because it is not in franchise mode the way it should be. It doesn't even function. It was sold to you. It was sold to everyone. But no one is speaking out about it not working. Because in college football, where the mode was apparently ported from, you have a dedicated menu. You can access wear and tear, how much it impacts the game. You can go and look at your auto substitutions menu, which allow you per position to adjust how everything is handled. This way, your halfbacks maybe rotate in and out more than your quarterback would, who would never come out, or your receivers who would come out less frequently. All of those things are in college football, but they do not exist in Madden franchise. The menus are simply not there. It was sold to you in this deep dive, but you cannot manage it the same way. So if you bought college football, or you had the bundle, you became a fan of the system, and you said, hey, Madden's going to get this, it's going to be great, you would learn immediately that it was not reality. Now, I want you to do an experiment. I don't want you to just take my word for it. I'm not LeVar Burton. I want you to go into your franchise, and I want you to look at player traits for halfbacks. And we are going to be very, very exact on who it is that we're talking about. I want you to look at Jamar Gibbs. The reason we're going to look at Jamar is Clint Oldenburg praised wanting to play with the Lions because of Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs in this game has a single trait. Yes, a single trait to help differentiate him from other players. With that in mind, I want you to look at this list from All Pro Football and how it used its traits to help players be unique. As you go through your franchise, you'll find that most players in Madden have 1, 2, sometimes 3. The premier players, Joseph Jefferson, has 2. One of them is dedicated to celebrations. Here is the list for All Pro Football 2K Gold and Silver. If you follow NFL football and you agree that Jefferson is on par with being one of the best wide receivers in the league, do you truly feel that his celebrations are half of what sets him apart? Because outside the ratings, EA Sports does. But again, this is just offensive players. I must be nitpicking. Trent Williams is the best lineman in this game, 97 overall. Now, the lead developer, Clint Oldenburg, cites his favorite team as the Commanders because he got cut from them in their practice squad. So Clint got to watch a majority of Trent's career, where he racked up 3 All-Pro nods, 11 Pro Bowls, named to one of the Commanders' 90th greatest players. Now, the Muppets are going to tell you that because Trent didn't start one of those games in 2010, maybe Clint didn't see any of this. But how many traits do you feel Trent got? Try 0. This is a list of what All Pro Football did. Again, this is not being negative. This is being honest. This is not clapping like a seal and saying, EA tried, guys. It's a step in the right direction, guys. Why can't you just find the positive? It's showing you that they are selling you a game with improvements, changes, dynamic upgrades, and then zero, and I mean zero thought, goes into implementing them. And the reality is, when you can't get the best players in the league correct, everything else is going to get labeled nitpicking. When you can't fire your trainers because the pool generating new trainers doesn't work properly, you have no way of rehiring one, that's an issue. When the computer creates coaches or coordinators that don't have headsets, that's an issue. When you create your coach but can never edit his appearance again, that is an issue. But of course, does any of that really matter when team and player regression is broken? Because EA Sports sold us that stats were going to be completely redone. Stats are still very much broken, and a player's career value in Madden will never be understood. Again, EA told us one of the biggest pieces of feedback they heard, and it's still broken. Don't take my word for it. Go look for yourself. The rubber band AI does not scale to quarter length. Quarterbacks will end with identical yardage. The depth charts are still mismanaged. You can run your franchise through and see player lineups where Patrick Mahomes is playing special teams, and I already hear the Muppets now. Patrick Mahomes getting a tackle on a kick return just shows how dedicated he was to the Chiefs. But then again, when 1/3 of the league's quarterbacks throw for more than 30 touchdowns, I guess a quarterback would need to prove his value in other ways than just passing the ball. From a halfback perspective, you'll see players rush over 1,000 yards, but never break a run longer than 10, while some reason slot receivers continue to dominate the league. You can sim those same 10 years out and see how many 90-plus quarterbacks are just hanging out, and then, of course, see that the contracts and salary cap logic are still very much broken. And at some point, you're going to have to accept that this game goes beyond it's just poorly implemented, and accept that, as my original point made, it is releasing at best incomplete. I would love to know your thoughts on this. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. And when you know I am fully prepared for EA Sports to release a patch that breaks the current work every franchise gamer has done, there is no way that I cannot be back in the week with more commentary.